So what we are going to do first, I've created a folder, and the name of the folder is HTML and CSS animation. I'm going to open VS Code. If you don't have VS Code, you have to download one and open. And I'm going to click File, New File. I'm still going to open another new file. I'm going to go to the first one I open. I'm going to save it. Inside our desktop, we locate the file with the folder we created, animation, HTML and CSS animation. We're going to save this with index, then the type will be HTML. Save. Then we'll come to the other one, we'll save it as a CSS file. Save to style, then CSS. Then we'll save it. Now we've gotten our HTML file and CSS file ready for the animation. All I just have to do first, go to our HTML file, type exclamation sign, then tap your tab key. Then we come here, change the title to HTML and CSS animation. Let's go into our body and let's put some of the code. First of all, we're going to create a p tag, paragraph tag. Inside this paragraph tag, we're going to put like something like draw tech. Then inside this p tag, we're going to put an ID, and the name of the ID should be p1. Then let's just create a break, like some break, like a break, some break, enter, break. Let's copy the break. And let's put an horizontal line under the P1. Then save, copy all these you're seeing. Enter, copy, enter, copy, enter, copy, enter, copy. No, we call this one P2. Let's say we want to do something. So just say like easy code. So let's say code. Let's use the word like coding. That's P2 coding. Then P3. Change it to P3. Let's take the word like tech. Take like P4 like HTML, then P5 HTML, there, P5 like CSS, then P6 P6 like P6 like what are we P6 P6. Let's just call P6 programming. Then P7. Then P7. I just call P7 I. Let's say I. That's what I. Let's save. Let's minimize. Go back to our folder, open our folder, and let's preview it with our browser. Use Google Chrome to preview it. Split our windows. Let's open our code, VS Code, split VS Code 2, so that we will start styling. You can see very well at the same time. All we have to do first is to link our CSS file before we start styling. So let's first of all link our CSS file. We're going to link our CSS file here. So link rel to type sheet, then type say test /css, then href should be style.css, then close. Now we have to do now, we have to come back to our body and go to our CSS file. We've already linked our CSS file to our HTML file. So all we have to do, we have to target P1. So because we set P1 as an ID, so we're going to use hash key ID. We're going to use hash P1, curly braces, enter. So one thing, the first thing we're going to target our width, which is 400 pixel. Our height should be like 100 pixel. Then background. Let's say background should be red. Let's come here and preview and see. Let's take our font size to be, let's say our font size is 80 pixel. Then text align, center, preview. One thing we need to do, let's add a margin, like just 1 pixel. That's our margin. Save. So let's create our, first of all, let's add our keyframe, our keyframes. Let's add our keyframes. And this is our keyframe. We're going to call it my color animation. My color animation. That'll be our keyframe, my color animation. And inside my color animation, we're going to add some colors inside. Let's start with 0%, color braces. Let's use background color. Let's use green as our background color. Let's just copy it twice. Let's call this one 50%. I don't use, let me just use 40%, 40, 80%, 80%, 40, 80%, then going to be just 120%. Let's change this one to blue, turn to blue, turn to orange, change this one to turn to orange, then change this one to violet. Let's save and let's preview and see. Well, our animation has not shown yet, so we have to add our animation properties under our P1. So I'll just have to do, let me just add a space and say animation. Let's add an animation first. Animation. Say my color animation. Then animation duration. Animation duration should be, say, 5 seconds. Then animation iteration count, say infinite iteration count infinite. Let's save and preview here. What you can see, our color is changing from one color to another. That's how you can add some animation to your HTML file. So let's go on and target. I'll make things easy, to make things super fast. I'll copy P1, copy this code here, and I'll paste it here. I'll name this one P2 to target P2. I'll still use the same thing, but I'm going to change the color. I'm changing it from red to like green. The same 40 pixel center margin. But in this animation, we're going to target in P2, which is coding. There's something I want it to do. I want it to rotate. So I'm going to call this my rotate animation. My rotate animation. I'm going to come here. Our keyframes will change to my rotate animation. Then inside the my rotate animation, you add 100%. Then inside is what you put inside. So let's type transform, then rotate. Let's say rotate Z. Rotate Z. Inside Z, say 1000 degree. Let's go back and close our curly braces. So let's save this code, and as you can see, it's rotating. If you want it to be very fast, you put 0.5 seconds here. 0.5 seconds, Ctrl X to be very fast. Let's go ahead and target. P. We say at P3, color braces. So what do we want our P3 to do? It's very easy. I would like our P3 to rotate too. So I'm going to start with my width 400 pixel. My height, I'm going to put 100 pixel with a height. I'm going to put my background. I'm going to give my background blue background. Font size, I'm going to call it like 80 pixel. Font size, and then text align. Let's put it in center. Align center. Then our margin. Let's leave our margin as 1 pixel too. Let's save, and let's come to our browser and preview text. As you can see, let's add our keyframes first. Before start our animation. So let's add keyframes. This one I'm going to call it my rotate animation. My rotate animation. Inside our curly braces, we're going to type 100%, then curly braces. Say transform, rotate. Let's say rotate Y, and the angle is 1000. Let's say 1000 degree. 1000 degrees. Let's save. The animation has not come yet. It doesn't take any effort yet. So let's add an animation now. Just say, sorry, an animation now. Animation now. Animation. We'll call this picture me rotate animation. Me rotate animation. Me rotate animation. I'm going to call this, let's take our animation duration first. Animation duration to be 0.5 seconds. Then let's take our animation iteration count. Animation iteration count. Animation iteration count. Sorry. There's an animation iteration count. Let's say infinite. Let's save and see. Refresh. Wow. So we're going to call this one me rotate. There's something missing here. Me rotate. Sorry. I'm going to use me rotate here to make it balance. Sorry. Refresh. Wow. As you can see, this one is turning and this other one is rotating very fast too. So let's rush down and target our P4. Then after we target our P4, we target our P5 too. And I would like our P4 to translate. Let's see what I can do to P4. All I have to do, let me just copy this code here because there's no much difference. Copy this code here, enter, paste, and we'll call this one P4. The same thing, I'll leave it the same thing. But in this case, we're going to make it my translate, not my rotate again. I'm going to call it my translate. That's my translate. I'm going to call our keyframes. We make our keyframes my translate. And we're going to translate this thing the same duration 0 seconds and it's the same infinite. Then our keyframes will still remain 100%. Transform, rotate. No, instead of rotate we use translate because we're using translate here. We use translate 100 degree. 100 pixel instead. We use 100 pixel, 0 pixel, 0. Then we'll save. Let's preview and see. Wow, see, it's just moving very fast, moving left to right. So we are going to target P. We're going to target P5 now. P5. I would like P5 to do something different for me. P5 to do something different for me. I'm going to say add P5 curly braces, enter. Let me just say I want to use the same code here. So I want to use the same code here, the same height here. Let's go here and refresh and see. Scroll down and see our P5 is CSS. All we have to do now is to add our keyframes to this P5. Our P5. I'll still call it my translate. I still want to translate it. Let's call it my translate. I want to translate it to my translate. So I'll do same thing. I'll keyframe. I'm going to say my my translate. Then I'm going to come here, color braces. I use 100% color braces. Then I'm going to say transform, translate, it's P5, translate, this is 1000 pixel, 0, then inside you put a semicolon inside. There's something we need to do now. Instead of allowing it to be like this, let's first of all target animation and name animation. So animation should be, we change it from my translate to my scale, animation again, animation. Let's see the animation duration. Animation duration should be, what will I give? Let me just say 0.5 seconds still. Then animation iteration count, say infinity. Let's save this thing and see what happened. So nothing happened. Let's add, there's something missing here. You see nothing happens to CSS. So we just have to do, we have to add a keyframe to my scale. All we just have to do, we have to copy this one, copy it here, double paste it, and call this one my scale. And I'm still going to leave it as 100. No, we change it to 50% will be okay. 50% transform. I'm not going to use translate again because we've used scale, at this top, so we're going to use scale, and the scale should be, let's say change the scale to be like 3, 3. Let's save and see what will happen to our CSS. Let's refresh our page and see. Wow. So let's jump and go, let's target P6. I'm still going to use this same code. I'm just going to copy it. So I'm going to copy it. I'm going to come here and paste it here. Close my color braces. Close my color braces. All I have to do here, I have to change this one to P6. Change to P6 because we've already targeted P5, so I'll change to P6. So let me just come here and refresh at P6, and it's out of range. Why don't we just go back to our CSS file to make things easy for us? Let's make things easy for us, not to stress ourselves too much. Let's call this let's just call it probe. Let's save here, come to our CSS file. The same target, the same margin, but the animation, let me create our keyframes first, and in these keyframes I'm going to change this keyframe to my translate, to be my translate. Then inside my translate, I'm still going to use the same 100% color braces to transform, translate, say 1000 pixel, 0. Then let's save and see what will happen. Nothing happened to prog. Nothing happened to prog. All we just have to do again. Then I just add two more things to each. Let's come down again. Let's copy this one. Let's copy this one and see. Let's paste it down. So in this case, we're going to call it my skill. My skill. My skill. And transform my skill. Change it to my skill. My skill. Let's give it the same. Let me say 4, 4. Delete. Oh, sorry. Just deleted everything. Mark 4. Then let's go down again and let's refresh. Nothing happened. Let's go back and add animation. We change the animation to my opacity. Then animation duration. Let's leave our animation duration to be the same, 0.5 seconds. Let's say like animation iteration count, like infinite. Let's save and see what will happen. Wow, nothing still happened to probe. All we have to do again is see we have to add opacity. Let's add a keyframe that carries opacity. A keyframes that carry opacity. All we just have to do here, we copy this one, come here, we paste it here. So we're going to change it to my opacity. Opacity. Let's start to include our opacity into this. Let's say put this on 0%. Let's say opacity 0. Opacity 0. Copy this one. Paste it in 2 places. 1, 2. So we're going to call this one 50. Then we'll make this one 100. Then we'll make this one in between, we'll make this one 1. We'll save it. After we finish saving it, then let's preview and see what will happen. Fade in and fade out, fade in and fade out, fade in and fade out. You're seeing it's fading in, fading out, fading and fading out. It's too fast. So all I have to do here, let me change it to from this 4 to 3. Change this 4 to 3. Let's see. 3. Save. Let's see. Fading is not slow. Fading and fade out. Fading and fade out. If 5 seconds is too quick, let's change it to 0.5 seconds. Let's just change it to 5 seconds. Let's see what will happen to it. Fade in. You see, fade in and fade out. You see. So let's move ahead and target our P7. Our P7 is going to be the last one that we are going to target before I end this video. So all I have to do now, our P7 here, let's see what is in our P7. Is just I. So we're going to type some code. Here. We're just going to do is say P7. Target P7, curly braces, enter. Let's go with the weight, 400 pixel. The height should be, let's say 100 pixel height. Then the background should be red. Then the font size should be like 80 pixel. Then font size. Then the text align. Let's align to center, but again add a margin of 1 pixel. Let's save and see what will happen to I. You see. Then we can just go after background. Let's change our color from black to white. color should be white. Wow. When you come here, when you preview it, let's preview and see what happened. Let's scroll down and see it has changed to white. So all we just have to do now, let's put some animation. Before I would start creating my animation, let me add my keyframes first. My keyframes. I'm going to call this my font. Call this my font, and inside this my font. Let's say 0%. 0 is 0%. I'm going to use 0% and say font size. Let's say my font size is supposed to be 8. Let me say 80 pixel. 80 pixel. Come here, we copy this one. Copy it, paste. Then I'm going to change this one to 50 and 100. 50, then yeah, we'll make this one 100. So this one remain 80, and let's call this font size a 50% to be like maybe 400. Let's save and see. Wow, the animation, we've not added our animation yet. Let's add an animation. We call it, the name of animation should be my font. The animation duration should be, let me just say 5 seconds. Let's see what happened. 5 seconds. Animation duration. Sorry. Let's go back. Animation duration should be like 5 seconds. Then animation iteration count should be infinite. Let's save and see what happens to. Wow. So what happened? Fade, come out. So for the sake of our font, let's use black instead of white. Let's use black. Let's just use black instead of white. Let's see. Wow. Mm-hmm. 400. Let's change this one to 200 and see. 200. Let's see what happened. 50%, 200. Let's refresh and see. Wow. You see, just be going in and coming out, popping out, coming out.